What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so according to reports, Skip Bayless, at least according to reports, they say that he is departing Fox Sports after an 8-year run with the network. Of course, he was on ESPN for some 12 years before that, co-hosting ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith, who was still part of the network and still part of that program. It was back in 2016 that Skip Bayless departed ESPN and Undisputed, which used to be called, I think, Cold Pizza. And before it was that was a segment. The debate show was a segment on Cold Pizza before they expanded the whole show into a debate format. But he departed ESPN and First Take for Fox Sports and Undisputed, which was initially moderated by Joy Taylor, who left the program, I think, after something like 2 years. In the last year or year and a half, I would say last year, the relationship between Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless deteriorated to the point where Shannon Sharpe departed the show roughly 1 year ago. Matter of fact, I believe he announced his departure, I want to say it was late May of 2023, though he stayed on until the end of the 2013 NBA Finals, if memory serves me correctly. Now, the reason why I say fired is because oftentimes certain people are allowed the luxury of being fired, but given the ultimatum that they're going to be terminated, or they can resign before they're officially terminated, or they'll just say they are leaving on equal terms when in reality they were fired. I tend to believe that he was fired. Okay. You can come here and defend he left and all that stuff. You know, you could defend in a way that you wouldn't defend if it was Shannon Sharpe or whatever. But the fact remains, Undisputed was an unmitigated disaster this past year, averaging less than 50,000 viewers this past spring. I mean, it was an absolute complete failure. First Take was beating them in the ratings by something around 10-1 or better at times. I mean, just a complete and total disgrace. And nobody should feel sorry for Skip Bayless because he did this to himself. His ego did this to himself. His controlling, manipulative ways did this to himself. His prima donna attitude did this to himself. And for all the people who said that Skip Bayless made Shannon Sharpe, well, okay, explain that now. Shannon Sharpe left that show and went on to go viral with an interview with Cat Williams, and now has a podcast or a talk show, I guess you could say, that he hosted, has millions and millions of subscribers and gets millions and millions of views on a daily basis. Has another podcast that he does with former NBA player Chad Ochocinco, which I believe is called Nightcap, which gets tons of views. He contributes to ESPN on a semi-weekly basis. Well, he does it on a weekly basis, but it's I think it's 2 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So he has different avenues as far as income and influence. Skip was relegated to Undisputed, where he was largely neutered. No longer the same Skip Bayless that he had been before. Because his bosses, yeah, he has bosses too, told him to tone down the rhetoric. And the show became increasingly boring. And despite the addition of Keyshawn Johnson, briefly Michael Irvin, Paul Pierce, who else was there? Rachel Nichols. Despite the addition of all these people, man, the show failed horribly. Because Shannon made the show. And without Shannon, it was born. It was born, and that's and the numbers proved it out to be. Skip is about what 72. I think he'll be 73 this year. Um, so ESPN had already replaced him with a fake Skip and Mad Dog Russo. So he's not going to come back there. More than likely, he's going to probably be on YouTube on that podcast that he hosts. That, considering who he is, doesn't get very many views. Look, I don't get that many views, but I'm not nationally known. I don't have a national network uh, showcasing me. And there's some videos where Skip gets just as many views as I do on his YouTube podcast. So, and look, you know what? I remember I said that before, right? That triggered some dude. How dare you compare your nigga ass to that good white man? I never seen such buck dancing in my. Anyway, man. I don't know, man. You know, he says that he's not going to retire because he associates retirement with death. Well, you know, Skip is still here, obviously, but his career, it's looking real shaky right now. It's looking very, very shaky. I don't see him coming back to ESPN. It definitely wouldn't be First Take. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. As far as Undisputed, apparently, according to reports, they're going to keep that show. I was thinking that they should probably try to bring in someone like Max Kellerman. I think that vehicle would be perfect for Max Kellerman. You know what I'm saying? To right the wrong of Stephen A. Smith, you know what I'm saying? Ruining Max Kellerman's career or trying to ruin Max Kellerman's career off because of his ego. You know? That'll be a great comeback for Max Kellerman because, you know, I'd much rather take up for Max than Stephen A. Smith fence riding, banjo playing, you know. I hate having to censor myself on here, man. You know, but Stephen A. Smith, bro, you know, that's just it's messed up what he did to him, man. It's messed up what he did to Max Kellerman. All because you got into your feelings because, you know, Terrell Owens told you what all of us were thinking. So you proceeded to try to ruin that man's career. But anyway, Skip Bayless is gone from Fox Sports. And it's something that we all saw coming. I mean, think about it, man. At one point in time, Skip Bayless used to be dominating sports talk. I remember when we used to do videos, we talk about Skip Bayless every day on here. We hardly ever talk about that guy. I mean, he wasn't even relevant on his own show anymore. So, and plus another thing too, man. Skip has the most tired talking points I've ever heard in my life. The same talking points. You know, especially when it comes to Russell Westbrook. He has I'm sorry, but he has the worst hands I've ever seen of a point guard. 29% three ball. Leading the league in turnovers per 36 minutes. Come on, man. We don't need that anymore.